Welcome to Consensus Unreality. We're trying a new format here.
Trying a new one, yeah.
Short little video clip, or you might be hearing an audio version. Little refreshers on subjects that have been important to the podcast and to the culture at large, the UFO and etc. subcultures.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't confine us to that small of a space anymore. We've got our hands in all types of different things, strange, paranormal, but also fictitious as well. We've been talking about sci-fi, occult books, witchy stuff, of course, UFOs, and flying saucer mythologies of yesteryear on Consensus Unreality for just about 6 years at this point.
That can't be.
It's so true. We're there.
But this time we are talking about UFOs.
That's true. And yes,
so to speak.
The point of these short video and audios is kind of going back over some of the subjects that we've covered in our 6-year span of doing this show, and maybe building out a sort of encyclopedia, just kind of reminders, because we bring these things up very often, but listeners might not know what the hell we're talking about. So
yeah,
I think a good place to start with our first one is, of course, Gray Barker's The Silver Bridge.
Yeah, I got a copy right here, which is
beautiful.
A beautiful book. And there's the man. Yeah. When we talk about the Mothman event and the Silver Bridge collapse, often the first book that comes to mind will be John Keel's The Mothman Prophecies. But really, The Silver Bridge by Gray Barker came out first, and they had known each other at the time, I believe, and were kind of working together in some regards on this 1967-66 flap of West Virginia and, tri-state area down there, encounters with a winged entity that, if you read something like The Silver Bridge, is only called Mothman out of sort of convenience. The sort of very hyper mothicized entity that we have for our popular culture today is not really what they were talking about at the time, which, I mean, Barker even kind of hints that it might just be a strange large bird. And
the
then
Garuda.
The Garuda.
The legendary Garuda, yeah.
That was sort of one of the original titles for, it's a subtitle in the Mothman Prophecies, but yeah. And there was a winged bird, sort of alternate title for The Silver Bridge by Barker. So this is kind of what's going on at the time. Just a winged being of some sort that the more scientifically minded, perhaps Gray Barker among them, concluded it was a rather large sandhill crane, and it's kind of like the classic debunker route. But it's weirder than that, and of course the mythology around it is huge, and for some reason kind of took up its place in the pantheon of contemporary supernatural entities, along with Bigfoot and, Bigfoot and people like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's probably the second most famous, well, I guess Loch Ness. But yeah, next to Bigfoot and Loch Ness, you certainly have the events of the Mothman sightings in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. One of the things I like a lot about Gray Barker's book, some of which is also in John Keel's book, but it focuses a lot on the idea of prophecy and this cryptid acting as a supernatural bringer of prophecy to the people that see it. And a lot of that is leading up to the collapse of the Silver Bridge, which ended in a very real tragedy. It's got a great amount of, I don't want to say myth building, because I think that kind of might lead people to the idea that it's fictitious. But if you know about Gray Barker's history, there's certainly
a lot of it is, yeah.
A lot of leisure taken.
I mean, some of the characters are made up entirely. Some of them are based on Barker a little bit. Some of it's based on his reporting. I mean, Keel was really more the reporter. And I think the mythos owes more to Keel than to Barker, but I think Barker was the better promoter, sort of a and his book is also the more poetic, I think. Um, it's really interestingly written. It kind of has like Barker the romantic kind of written all over it, like very, just interesting. He took the prose seriously. Not that Keel didn't, but Keel's is much more like a monster book, sort of, like, that's not fair either.
There's a lot of weird. There's a lot of weird synchronicity in both of them.
Yeah,
it's kind of more presented in a gumshoe detective way in John Keel's book, but in the Silver Bridge, it's presented through the lens of the witnesses, and
then through the sort of meta lens of the recorder, which is this kind of like being that is maybe Barker. It might be like the author. It might be the aliens. It's kind of like this mysterious stand-in for the authorial voice. Yeah.
Yeah, and real quick on Barker, too. I mean, let's talk a little bit about who Gray Barker was for a second, if people are unfamiliar.
Yeah. Publisher of Saucerian Press. Recently, my press, Apport Editions, publishes poems, but what can I say?
Ding.
And really kind of like one of the larger, still, I mean, he was a fringe character in a lot of ways, but at the same time, very few people did more to like influence and make, I don't know, what's the word? Like make fun the UFO subculture.
But also simultaneously world build it, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what he gave it sort of like a circus-like atmosphere that other people just didn't really have the literary or trickster talent for. So he was sort of, always putting out newsletters, publishing the most bizarre and outlandish claims in his various works. And then also, kind of giving the more nuts and bolts ufologists their own say. He's kind of, he was just sort of one of the no longer unsung, but for a while, kind of one of the unsung voices of the UFO publishing world.
And one of the great literary tricksters as well.
Yes. Several hoaxes kind of belong to his school of hoaxing, whether or not he was actually the one to pull the proverbial wool or not. He was often sort of publishing it or promoting it, that sort of thing. There's really no comparable figure within ufology. Keel was similarly, influential, but not as interested in bending the truth for a good story. Keel, not that he didn't, but he had his own sort of MO, which involved, larger theories about the nature of all of this, where Barker didn't seem quite as hell-bent on figuring it out, because to a large degree he was kind of making money, what little money he made out of it not being figured out.
Perfect. So hold that book up again, and you can hear us talk about Gray Barker, UFOs, science fiction, all your favorite occult, paranormal, and highly strange subjects on Consensus Unreality podcast. And we have 2 episodes a month on our Patreon, where we get super strange, and that's patreon.com/consensusunreality. You can also find our printed Journal of Shells magazine over there, our Discord server, and our full episode archive. Thank you for listening to this first short encyclopedic episode. I don't know what the hell we're calling this, but
we'll call it a quick burst.
Yeah, we'll workshop that. All right. Thank you, and we'll catch you next time.